Overview of the Microsoft Azure AZ900 Practice Test. This Microsoft Azure AZ900 Practice Test is a comprehensive preparation resource designed for individuals seeking foundational knowledge of Azure and cloud computing principles. It includes a variety of question types, multiple choice, drag and drop, and hotspot scenarios that test the candidate's understanding of Azure services, deployment models, pricing structures, and security features. Below is a detailed breakdown of the key topics covered in the test. Key topics covered. 1. Azure support plans. Objective: understand the different Azure support plans and their features. Questions focused on identifying support plans that allow for new support requests, developer, standard, professional direct. Determining the right support plan for specific scenarios like design assessments. 2. Azure storage redundancy options. Objective: learn about Azure's storage redundancy types and their applications. Key concepts tested. Geo-redundant storage, GRS, for data resiliency across geographic locations. Read-only geo-redundant storage, RAGRS, for enabling data reads from secondary locations. 3. Cloud deployment models. Objective: differentiate between SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Tested scenarios. Deploying virtual machines, IaaS is the correct model. Hosting web apps with varying requirements, PaaS is often recommended for reduced administrative effort. 4. Azure Web Tier Plans. Objective: select the correct Azure Web Tier plan based on requirements like storage, custom domains, SSL, and cost. Examples. Standard plan supports features such as SSL, custom domains, and load balancing. Free and shared tiers are insufficient for production scenarios. 5. Azure Resource Management. Objective: understand strategies for automating and organizing Azure resources. Tested solutions. Azure Resource Manager, ARM, templates for automating resource creation. Role-based access control, RBAC, for managing access to Azure resources. 6. Azure cost models. Objective: analyze and select expenditure models for Azure solutions. Key scenarios. Operational expenditure, OpEx, for pay-as-you-go services. Capital expenditure, CAPEX, for on-premises setups, not recommended for Azure. 7. Azure AI and machine learning solutions. Objective: identify the right Azure services for AI and predictive analytics. Key points. Azure Machine Learning Studio is ideal for building, testing, and deploying predictive models. Azure Cosmos DB is not suitable for predictive analytics. 8. Azure Migration and Active Directory integration. Objective: minimize user impact during migration and enhance security. Topics covered. Synchronizing on-premises Active Directory accounts with Azure AD. Using Azure AD Identity Protection for detecting and responding to suspicious sign-ins. 9. Network security and connectivity. Objective: secure communication between Azure resources and external users. Tested scenarios, using network security groups, NSGs, for managing traffic between web servers and database servers. Configuring point-to-site VPNs for remote worker access. 10. Cloud characteristics and benefits. Objective: understand the advantages of public, private, and hybrid clouds. Key concepts: public cloud, shared resources, metered pricing, and self-service management. Hybrid cloud combines on-premises and cloud resources for flexibility. 11. High availability and fault tolerance. Objective: deploy solutions with guaranteed uptime and minimal resource usage. Key examples: achieving 99.99% availability with 2 VMs across 2 availability zones. Fault tolerance strategies for ensuring continuous operation during failures. 12. Automation and security. Objective: ensure secure and efficient Azure resource management. Tested solutions: Encrypting credentials with Azure Key Vault during automated deployments. Avoiding unsuitable services like Azure Information Protection or Azure MFA for credential encryption. Practice test highlights scenario-based questions. Many questions present real-world scenarios to test practical application of Azure knowledge. Example: choosing the right storage redundancy option for geo-clustered data centers. Solution validation format. A recurring format asks whether a proposed solution meets the stated goal. Example: determining if Azure App Service and Azure SQL Database align with a PaaS-only migration plan. Drag and drop and hotspot questions. Interactive questions test a deeper understanding of Azure services. Example: matching Azure benefits to their descriptions or completing sentences with appropriate terms. Focus on cost optimization. Several questions emphasize minimizing costs while meeting technical requirements. Example: selecting the most economical web tier plan or using elasticity to manage fluctuating resource demands. Security and compliance. Questions address security measures like Azure AD identity protection and secure credential storage. Example: ensuring compliance with government regulations using Azure Government. Who should take this test? This practice test is ideal for beginners in cloud computing, those looking to understand basic Azure concepts and services, IT professionals preparing for AZ900 certification, individuals aiming to validate their foundational Azure knowledge, business decision makers, professionals seeking to learn how Azure can support organizational goals. Tips for success: understand key Azure concepts, focus on the differences between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, as well as Azure cost models. Learn Azure services, familiarize yourself with core services like Azure App Service, Azure SQL Database, and Azure Resource Manager. Practice real-world scenarios. Use scenario-based questions to reinforce your understanding of Azure's practical applications. Focus on security and management. Learn how Azure secures resources and simplifies administrative tasks. This well-rounded practice test ensures you are ready to tackle the AZ900 exam by covering all major Azure topics with practical, scenario-based learning.